This model is considered special because 1972 was the last year the SS396 and the SS350 models were offered. Farah, shall we give it a little bit of a gun?
Do that, Renuka.
Oh, just the sound, Farah.
Camaro, I think, comes from camaraderie, pal, friend. And I think it signifies the relationship between a car and a driver. We've gone on driving holidays in China, across the Himalayas. We've been through Southeast Asia, Indian Northeast, and Nepal. We've done so much driving together.
After many, many years, at the age of 50, you decided to jump into a car and rally again. What made you do something as insane as that?
I would say 2 vodkas.
Welcome to another episode of History on Wheels, and today I'm bringing you an iconic car that was a part of automotive history. We're talking about an American legend. This is the LT1 variant, which had one of the greatest small block engines ever produced by Chevrolet. It came with a 5.7 litre that had 255 horsepower and 514 Nm of torque. Higher powered variants were also made. This second-generation Camaro had styling inspired by Ferrari and still used a unibody structure. The SS version got the split bumper and heavy-duty suspension. This model is considered special because 1972 was the last year the SS396 and the SS350 models were offered. We're privileged to have this car with us here today on the show. Now, I'm really excited because the owner of this car is my rallying partner and very dear friend. She's got adrenaline in her veins. She's been rallying, racing, go-karting. She's done it all, even ridden bikes. She was the first woman to win Group N in the Rallied Endurance. She's got many other accolades like Himalayan rally wins under her belt. Meet Farah Vakil. I'm so glad to be with you on this show. I mean, did you ever think we'd be doing something like this together?
Never.
I mean, we've done some crazy stuff together in cars, stories never to be told again. But this is really cool, and I'm particularly excited to be doing it with this car because I've seen it in your family over the years. We've driven around and done mad things in it. But do you know what Camaro really means?
Camaro, I think, comes from camaraderie, pal, friend. And I think it signifies the relationship between a car and a driver.
Correct. The car and its bestie.
Yeah.
Just like we're besties. So it's the perfect car to be with us on the show today. Why do you think I'm excited?
Absolutely.
A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess.
Where did that love affair with cars begin?
I suppose it's a family thing. Even though my family my father used to race motorbikes. So there was speed. But starting with my grandmother and my father's grandfather, cars have always been a big deal in our family. My grandmother used to ride a motorcycle before she was 18, and she drove an ambulance in World War II. So cars have always been a big part of our lives. So when I was at some stage, I used to ride a motorbike also. At some stage, my interest started in rallying and racing. And I made that switch over. And for many, many years, I had no contact with vintage cars. It was my dad's passion. It's just maybe in the last 7-10 years that I've changed and my interest has shifted.
Which, if you were to pick, I mean, you've got many accolades under your belt. You've got a room full of trophies that we can see. Which would be your favorite event if you had to pick one and say, that was an event that's going to stay in my mind forever?
Renuka, I think that would be Rally D that we did, where we just drove and drove and drove for God knows how many.
18 hours,
20 hours. I remember getting to a hotel where they'd messed up our room. And we were so tired that we just lay down on the steps of the hotel and went to sleep for a little while. And we had to get up in a few hours and shower and get out.
And my dad came and woke us up and said, you girls, you're supposed to be on the start line.
Yeah, that's right.
Get out of this hotel.
And I remember we went into a river and we got stuck in the river and we had to be pulled out. And I think Rally D would really be the rally that I would say was the most memorable for me.
It's where we learned that when you spray soda in your face, you get woken up.
Correct.
Do you remember that happening
Correct.
to us as well? Yeah.
Correct.
A colleague of ours sprayed soda in our face because both of us were just so
Fading.
wiped out and
We were
exhausted.
fading.
But that was the rally that Farah actually won.
Yes,
Group N.
yes.
We won it in a Maruti 800 and we beat a whole bunch of men, I'm happy to say this, to win the class in that rally. And I think we were so proud of ourselves.
We
weren't
were.
Which has been your favorite car that you've owned? It may not be a vintage car, it may be a modern day car that you've kind of owned over the years, something that you really, really love.
I love my Fortuner.
Yeah.
I love it absolutely. It affords me safety, it affords me driving pleasure. It's strong, it's big, I can overtake with ease.
Yeah.
And it's not so expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
I mean, when you compare it to other big models, the other big names,
Yeah.
my Fortuner is a reasonable car to own.
And you're someone who does a hell of a lot of long distance driving.
I do. I live in Goa. I used to live in Goa. And once a month I would drive back and forth. So I did a lot of driving.
And that's not the only long distance driving you've done. You've driven across countries, you've driven across borders.
With you mostly, Renuka.
Yes.
We've gone on driving holidays in China. We've gone across the Himalayas. We've been through Southeast Asia, in the Indian Northeast, in Nepal. We've done so much driving together. My dad, when I was much younger, when I was under 10, my dad had a 77 Mustang. And he was forced for some reason to sell it. And I was very heartbroken when the Mustang went. And then one day I opened the front door in the morning and I saw this. And I was delighted with it. My dad had given us no information that he was buying another car or anything. And he wasn't awake yet. I quickly came to the car and I said, I'll start it, And I took 10-15 minutes and I couldn't figure out how to start this damn car. And it's got a trick. You have to put your foot on the clutch, disengage the gearbox, and then it starts. Otherwise, you can't start this car. And I remembered, I think that must have sparked a love affair with this car.
And of course, that engine.
It's huge.
And the sound.
And it's just a massive, it's like power that you can feel in the steering wheel,
Absolutely. So I think it's time we got into the car and took one little chakkar in
Why
this car.
don't you drive it, Renuka?
I mean, who can say no to that, right?
That's right.
Oh, damn. Yes, I forgot. Farah, shall we give it a little bit of a gun?
Do that, Renuka.
Oh, just the sound, Farah.
Brakes are a little iffy.
Yeah. Whoa, they're very iffy. I'm glad we're just driving this in your compound, Farah, and not out on the roads because we might not have stopped. Oh, but these cars had so much power, right, under their belt, and they were just so much fun to drive. Oh, what we need is a nice open stretch of highway, and we need some no speed limit restrictions.
Good road.
A little bit better brakes so that we can stop after we speed.
True.
I remember you driving this in the heydays when you would just belt this around Pune.
I know. But now it's very difficult because with a 3 or 3.5 inch clearance, every speed breaker, you have to diagonally crawl over because otherwise you scrape the bottom.
Yeah, so really this car is not so practical to drive.
No, not at all.
Outside.
And I would drive it more often because it's a very easy car to drive.
Yeah.
I would drive it more often, except that the traffic is just horrendous.
Traffic
and the speed breakers
and
are
the state of the
horrendous.
roads, I guess. So
Yeah.
It's just not easy to take anywhere and everywhere, and especially when it's a valuable car, you really don't want to mess with it, right?
Yeah. But as I said, it's a very easy car to drive.
It is.
In fact, it's easier than the MG to
You
drive
know,
in
honestly,
traffic.
for the size that it is and what it feels like, This car is just so easy to turn and maneuver. The steering is nice and light.
Very nice and very easy.
And it's huge, but I kind of don't, I'm not worried about it. You know?
It doesn't feel you.
To drive,
Let's do it again.
Let's do it.
Maybe we want to fix the brakes and then do it?
Yes. Maybe we want to fix the brakes and then do it. Seriously. But a nice big muscle American engine there's nothing quite like it, isn't it?
No. It's
And
lovely.
I think I know
lovely.
why your dad loved these American
Put your foot down now,
cars.
go.
Oh, she's choking. It's been a fun little drive. We could have done a slightly longer drive, but I'm so glad I actually got to get my hands on the wheel of this Camaro, which you've never let me do before. Do you know this?
Yeah, I know. Renuka, next long drive, you want a long drive?
Yeah.
Let's go to Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan or Uzbekistan.
But not
one
in
of the stans.
We can do the stans, but not in the Camaro.
No, not in the Camaro.
Yeah.
But we can do a long drive. But somewhere.
Thank you, Farah.
Thank you,
I
Renuka.
quite enjoyed this and I love driving it. I think there's so many cool things, and there's even a little pocket for my phone. Like they knew about mobile phones in those days. Think about it.
Maybe maps.
Maybe
it was a map.
It was a map thing. Farah, thank you for letting me drive your little baby.
Welcome.
That sound is going to stay with me for a while now. I mean, it's just these exhaust notes are just not things we hear in today's day. And you know, now with this EV age, it's completely gone
Silent,
to the other
absolutely
extreme.
silent.
But before I let you go, we're going to do a quick rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you some quick questions.
I might fail.
Doesn't matter. We'll fail together.
Okay.
SUV or sedan?
SUV.
Manual or automatic?
Manual.
Rallying or racing?
Rallying.
If you had to own one car, no money bar, yeah, and you could buy it today, which car would you buy?
Austin Healey 3000.
All right. And which is your favorite driving song?
Maybe Daytona
All
by
right.
Chris Rea.
Yeah.
But Daytona had a red Ferrari in it. So
Yes.
it wasn't my blue Camaro, but it was close.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
Let's ask you some Camaro questions since we are on the Camaro now. Do you know what the Camaro was originally called before it was called Camaro?
Well, its code name, the code name of the project, in project stage, was I think Panther.
Yeah,
And
absolutely
then
right.
it was changed to Camaro. It was launched as the Camaro,
You're absolutely right.
which means friendship or friends.
Yeah, like we said at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Last one. Okay, this is a tricky one. Okay, which pop culture movie did the Camaro feature?
Transformers, where it turns from a Bumblebee into a car.
Farah, I'm very impressed. Yeah, I'm really impressed because I had to mug up the answer of that one. I didn't know it.
I know it only by chance, Renuka, I promise you.
Thank you so much for sharing the space and time with us. It's
Thank
really
you.
been a pleasure having you here. Now, whether it's the rivalry with Mustang or its Hollywood fame, this car has been an icon. So whether it's been tearing down a drag strip or cruising down a main street, it has left an indelible mark on American automotive history. And let's take a look at that history. It all started in the mid-1960s when Chevrolet needed an answer to Ford's wildly successful Mustang. Code name for this top-secret project, Panther. But at a groundbreaking press conference in 1966, Chevy's Panther turned into the Camaro, a name that would be feared on racetracks and highways alike. Chevrolet officially claimed the name suggests the comradeship of good friends as a personal car should be to its owner. And when they were asked what Camaro means, they said it was a vicious animal that ate up the Mustang. The first generation Camaro, which existed from 67 to 69, was a sleek, aggressive machine with engine options ranging from a 140 horsepower V6 to a beastly V8 pumping out 375 horsepower. And let's not forget the ultra-rare Copo models, specially built drag racers with up to 430 horsepower at that time. They remain collector's items even today. And today, Copo models can make over 1,000 horsepower. Camaro's second generation saw a new era of design, reflecting both federal regulations and changing consumer tastes. Lower, longer, and with more muscular frame, the Camaro was adapted to meet safety standards, sporting bumpers and catalytic converters. Unfortunately, 2002 marked the end of an era when after 4 generations and 35 years, Chevrolet ceased Camaro production, leaving fans wondering if the Camaro's reign had come to a close. After a 7-year hiatus, the Camaro made its triumphant return in 2010, inspired by the classic 1969 model with a retro modern twist. Fans of the franchise Transformers will recognize the 5th generation Camaro as the vehicle made for Bumblebee. The 6th generation Camaro debuted with lightweight materials, advanced aerodynamics, and up to 650 horsepower in the ZL1 trim. After a run that stretched to the 2024 model year, the Camaro's production came to an end, capping off storied history filled with unforgettable moments.